Welcome to this video review. I'm going to talk about all the features and all the specification of short monoblock mounts made by Tier 1. And as you probably know, Tier 1 is a company from Great Britain, from UK. Well, Great Britain and UK is not the same, but they're from UK. And they produce tactical scope mounts. They also produce a lot of accessories like bipods and moderators and a lot of other stuff. High quality premium products for shooters and hunters. So I think that majority of their sales go to this product, even though they also sell really a lot of bipods. But at least in our store, this is still their favorite product that majority of buyers buy, and this is a short monoblock mount. The business started for Tier 1 in 2008. I believe that they started under the name of Third Eye Tactical. At least I remember, I think it was 2010 when I first saw them at EVA show, or maybe 2011. And they progressed each year until now they're one of the biggest producers of scope mounts in Europe, or at least among top 3, top 5, something like that. Their products these scope mounts are suitable for Picatinny rails. They have 2 recoil stoppers. That means you're not able to mount them on any kind of Weaver bases or something similar. They only go on Picatinny rail, which is normally okay because majority of tactical rifles today, they all come from the factory equipped with Picatinny rails, or even if they don't, people put Picatinny rails on them by default. The material used for these mounts is aluminum 7075 T6, so I hope I got this code right. This is the aircraft grade aluminum, really high quality material, very stiff, very reliable, and at least to my knowledge we haven't received any single scope back from Tier 1 from any customers that would say that something failed. So the quality is really there. The warranty is 2 years, and like I said, you will not need a warranty because scope mounts, especially these from Tier 1, do not fail. The rings are designed in 50-50 configuration. That means 50% above, 50% below, which is normal in tactical scope rings. 2/3 design, it's highly uncommon in tactical rings. That design is more common with hunting style scope mounts. Each of these mount comes with torque values already written on them. So the base torque value for the screws is 4 Newton meters, and the torque value for the rings which hold the scope tube is 2 Newton meters. So 4 Newton meters for this, and 2 Newton meters for all of these 6 screws on top. Even though, honestly speaking, even if you apply 5 Newton meters on the base and 2.3 Newton meters on top screws, you will still be fine. Some people put rosin inside, powder rosin, when they mount the scopes. Others put nylon from the medical gloves. In my opinion, it's not needed, neither the first or the second one. Okay, if you put inside, it means it's already an overkill, so it will hold the scope even more than necessary. But even if you don't put anything in, there is enough of contact surface that the scope will not move. The rings on this mounts are 26 millimeters wide, so there is really a lot of contact surface. 26. And if I go through the variations with these mounts, so they're produced in 30 millimeters, 34 millimeters, 35 millimeters, 36 millimeters, and 40 millimeters. Basically in all possible scope dimensions, everywhere from 30 millimeters all the way to 40 millimeters, and all the dimensions in between. Regarding the BH heights, so this is the BH height. Yeah. There are only 2 options with each diameter. So 30 millimeter rings, these are those. they get 15 millimeters is the lower option and 23 millimeters is the higher option. You can also choose between 0 MOA and 6 mil or 20.6 MOA version. So this one is canted forward for shots on a really longer distances. So if you have a straight Picatinny rail on your rifle, I would suggest you go with this 6 mil version. Each mount also comes with a, you see this part here? Yeah, this one. So this is meant for mirage bend if you have it on your rifle. It should be always pointed forward towards the target. And that means that at the rear you see bubble level installed on every and each of these mounts. So every mount in this series has a bubble level. Very, very nice. So if we go through the BH heights, so 30 millimeters comes in two variations, 15 and 23 millimeters, 34 millimeter rings, 34 millimeter diameter of the rings on the scope mounts, comes in 15 and 21 BH build height. 35 comes the same, 15 and 21. 36 comes in the same heights, 15 and 21. While the 40 millimeter mount comes in the lower, this one, the option which we have here is 14 millimeters high, as we measured already, roughly 14 millimeters, and the higher option is 19 millimeters. You can also see that there is a notch here in the center. You can see it here. And you get a special tool with each of these mounts, so that if you use this tool, like this, when you put the scope in, this tool will level the scope with the mount. I don't know how could I show this. You have to put the scope in and then you move this tool and the scope will get leveled with the mount. Really smart, and it's a nice addition to each mount that you get. The mounts come in a really nice packaging. You also get the inserts for the Torx, for the upper screws and for the base screws. And the level of machining here, you can also see it's just outstanding. You can see all this additional processes that were done to keep the mass as low as possible, but still to retain all the sturdiness and reliability of these mounts. You also see 4 screws to hold the base and 6 screws on each ring. So they're really robust. They're really tough monoblock mounts, like they should be. And all of these mounts can come either in 0 MOA or 20 MOA. Okay, I think we came to the last part where we can talk about the likes and the dislikes. And I usually start with the dislikes. And with these mounts, there are not many, honestly speaking. My only dislike, like with majority of tier 1 mounts, is regarding the BH heights. So the height between the Picatinny rail and the lower point of the scope. A lot of manufacturers are measuring the central part of the scope tube and the Picatinny rail, which is in reality even a better measurement. But since BH height, so the build height has been established much sooner than all tactical manufacturers came to the market, because BH height was already established 100 years ago by companies like Ernst Appel from Würzburg and Rick Nagel and similar producers of scope mounts for hunting applications. And there is one additional thing what you need to consider is that there are some scopes which have rails below their central tube. And there, this measurement of the central point of the tube, it's even harder to apply. So this is the reason why we stick to the BH. And this build height, the problem with tier 1, my dislike is that they are not specifying this on their webpage. They're only specifying medium and high versions. And you know, medium, low, high, extra high, these are not measurements. These are words. So you're basically not knowing what is the exact measurement. And for some people who really calculate which mount to take to get the scope as lowest as possible or high enough, it doesn't really matter. If you say take a high mount, they're confused because this is not a measurement in millimeters. So this is my dislike. The second dislike is that they only have 2 BH heights or build heights per each model. And they are not the same with each diameter, because 40 millimeter mount has a 14 millimeter BH, the lowest BH build height option, while all the rest have 15 millimeters, the lowest BH option. So if they could uniform this and produce more options, let's say from 10 to 25, let's say 4 options in between, I think a lot of people would appreciate this variety of choices. And this is basically my only dislike. Now, if we come to the likes, I really like the way that each mount is marked, if it's MOA or meal version. I like this very much. I also like the build quality, the fit and finish, it's superb. I like the price. They're much more affordable than similar other tactical monoblock mounts on the market. And honestly speaking, I'm not seeing any lack of quality compared to others. The other way around, I myself personally, I mostly use tier 1 monoblock mounts because they're really, really good. Each mount has an bubble level inserted, again a big plus for me. Each mount has an option to attach a Mirage band on it, again a big plus. Dual recoil stoppers, all the weight saving I would say parts on the scope. There is really a lot to like. I also like the general design. I like the packing in which these mounts come in. I like the tool that you're getting with them, because leveling the scope is always problematic, but with this tool it becomes really much easier. So really a lot of things to like, and especially the price. The price point, it's below 400 euros and way below 400 euros. Compared to others, it's a bargain when you see what kind of quality you're getting. I do have to point out that in the past they had titanium screws on their mounts, but they saw that the steel ones are actually even better, because I think that there was a problem that people over tightened the titanium screws or something like that. So this changed in the recent years, so they don't have titanium screws anymore, but still the quality is here. So you cannot go wrong if you buy any tier 1 monoblock mounts. Now, last but not least, what is the difference between a short version and a long version? The difference is in the rings, because the total length of short and long version of this mounts is the same. But if you have a short Picatinny rail and you're not able to move the mount forward and backward, then it's going to be hard for you to get an appropriate eye relief distance. And this is why the long mount is also produced by them. And here you have a little bit more of an option to put the scope either more to the rear or either more to the front. So this is the only difference. And the long version has 4 screws on top, not 6. It's just a matter of what you need and a matter of what's more aesthetically pleasing for yourself. I think that the short version is nicer, but it can be problematic on short action rifles where there is not a lot of free slots on your Picatinny rail and you're not able to move the entire mount forward or to the rear. Okay, I think I covered everything. If I forgot something, please be so kind and use the comments below. If you have any kind of video requests, again, use the comments below. And if you like our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.